you noticed that there's been a group of people that have been very quiet about health insurance? Lawyers. I haven't heard anything from the lawyers. Why is that? Kevin Williamson, Deputy Managing Editor for National Review. Why haven't we heard from the lawyers?
Because they're getting bought off, and they're going to make a lot of money off of this. All of their interests have been protected all the way across. There's no group, not doctors, not insurance companies, not anyone else who has done as well out of this health reform business as a lawyer as well.
What are they going to get?
Well, they're going to get essentially the government stopping states from enacting any sort of tort reform that will put any sort of limits on their earnings for medical liability claims.
What? Excuse me?
Well, a lot of states, Texas and Florida and some other places have enacted tort reform in recent years, where they put caps on how big awards can, well, non-economic damages, the pain and suffering awards. There's no cap on actual damages.
Right.
But the lawyers, of course, made lots and lots of money off those non-economic damages. And so what the government is going to do is it's establishing these grants that are in Nancy Pelosi's version of the bill, and they will provide money for alternatives to liability lawsuits. But if you take the money, you can't enact any actual tort reform.
Let me switch gears here, because I've told you over and over again, America, that this guy's a magician. He's David Copperfield. Always watch the other hand. What have they been doing since we've been watching healthcare?
Oh, gosh, they've been sneaking all sorts of stuff into other sorts of pieces of legislation. We've increased the budget of the National Endowments for the Arts by a third, by several $1 billion. We set aside $5.5 billion for community organizing and neighborhood stability groups, which means, of course, ACORN and groups of that sort. Even in the healthcare bill, we've got money set aside for veterinarians, so we'll be taking care of dogs' healthcare in the healthcare bill, too. We snuck through a hate crimes bill in the military defense policy. And what else have we done? We set aside a couple of million acres of land that you can't develop oil or energy resources on in the land use bill. So, and net neutrality rules stuck into the stimulus bill as well. So all sorts of stuff that has nothing to do with the legislation that it's actually supposed to be attached to has been enacted.
Net neutrality in stimulus or in health care?
I was in the stimulus bill. There was some net neutrality rules.
That's great.
Does it matter really?
And you know what? And they wonder why. And the Republicans wonder why we're upset as Americans. I mean, look, you've got what is it? 53% of Americans, 55% of Americans don't want this. 80% of Americans like the health care they have. They can't guarantee that you're going to be able to keep your health care, and nobody believes that they can. 35% of Americans want this health care. 35. They're going to jam it down our throat whether we say no or not. When did we turn a path here to not even resembling America?
Yeah, well, it's all this stuff is just sort of a sneaky way to get legislation done. I mean, they drop these enormous bills that are, thousands and thousands of pages. No one has time to read them. All the promises about putting this stuff online and making it available for debate. And they're supposed to put, all the healthcare debates up on C-SPAN, all that sort of stuff. None of it's happening. None of it's going to happen.
The odds that this thing passes, it's supposed to pass the House this Friday.
Yeah.
And then it goes to Harry Reid.
Right.
They think he's going to use the nuclear option. I think he will. He's